All right. Good evening, colleagues. Welcome to the 4th week of our course. We are starting in earnest because today or this evening we have quite a lot to cover. So we need to really go with the speed of light. So we're going to start now. So welcome everyone. Remember the rules, please. For today, please put your group number to your name, and then as you join, mute yourself. Okay, please, so that we can get it absolutely right today. All right. I hope no one is joining for the first time. So if you join, please mute yourself, because today I will not remind anymore. I will take people out if anyone disturbs us. So if you're not muted, mute yourself. If you're not muted, mute yourself. If you join us, mute yourself. If you're not muted, mute yourself. Otherwise, we are taking you out from now. Someone is still disturbing us. Okay, let me take them off. All right. Okay, so we started last week looking at how to we look at the causes of irreproducible research. In other words, the exemplar misconduct we saw in the case studies we reviewed. So you provided insights of your thoughts on the causes of reproducibility, and then we went also to talk about the some solutions. All right, and in both cases, both causes and solutions, we brought it home to Africa, the implications of the thoughts you provided for Africa, our continent. And it's clear from what you have provided in the discussions we had last week, the issue of research misconduct is a big issue in Africa, is a big issue, even though the evidence we have of global misconduct has come mainly from outside Africa. You agreed that irreproducible research or research misconduct are also common in Africa. All right. And as an organization, one of the things we try to achieve is to support documentation of what is happening in our continent with regards to issues of research, issues of science, and what affects us, you and me, as scholars and researchers. So for that reason, these are the things we'll do today. Yeah, this is one of the things we are doing, the ASFI seminar series. We are starting this year, tomorrow, and the seminar series starts tomorrow. And this year we are looking at innovation in research, Africa's panacea. This is an important aspect in the scientific research landscape, the issue of innovation, and more so in the world we live today, that for research to make any impact, it has to be innovative. and innovative in a way that it will have impact on the immediate and immediate society. All right. But what is it? How do you go through the process of innovative research? How do you accomplish that? How do you formulate research questions that are innovative? How do you undertake research that innovative? How do you communicate research that innovative? So the whole of this year, we are focusing on the issue of innovation in research. So tomorrow we're starting with asking the question, what in essence is it? What is innovation research? Or what is innovative research? Or what is research innovation? All this really we are referring to the same thing. We'll be having Professor Frederick. Somebody is not muted. Somebody is not muted, and the same person I took off last time is the same person who is not muted now. All right. So please don't ignore the warning so that we don't take you up and you don't disturb us. So Professor Frederick Atoama, he's a professor from University of Cape Coast in Ghana. He's a professor of environmental and sustainability science. He was a former director of the Directorate of Research, Innovation and Consultancy at the University of Cape Coast. And then he is the current Ghana's representative and the ECO in technology, science, technology, and innovation, the ECOWAS Commission. So he has agreed to speak on this topic with us tomorrow. And I think it would be a good opportunity for you, not only tomorrow, but to follow the series. We are covering this year so that we can all gain insight and increase our capacity in the way we do our research. I'm sure you have registered, and then you'll be joining. All right, so see you there tomorrow. And so part of the things I was alluding. I told you the first time we started this course. For those of you who joined us for the first time in our courses or in our programs, I told you that we have an agenda as an organization. And that agenda is to raise the next generation of African researchers. And in things we do, we get involved in different activities. And so in our trainings, in our seminar series, in the other programs we have, we watch out for issues that are important to raise the voice of African research and African researchers. So from the discussions we have had from this course, the things we have raised, we as organization have come to the conclusion that it's the right time that we undertake a survey to really generate data to document the issue of research misconduct in Africa. All right, the survey is ready. I'm informing you this evening because after the course, after this evening class, we are going to share the link, and I will appeal to you. For those who have not joined, I will still mention it close to the end of this evening's class. I will appeal to you. I don't think it would take more than 10 minutes of your time. If that is the investment, and thank you very much for the research funding one. So those of you who felt that was fantastic, and that helped to increase the number of people who have participated. I will appeal to you again when you get the link. I would like you to do two things. please take 10 minutes of your time to fill it in. Fill it in. Fill it in. Then the second thing is share it to your colleagues. Share it to your colleagues. You see, the issue of research misconduct is now raising research discussion agenda to find a way to tackle this issue, to find a way to generate interventions. And so there is no other way we can do it than to first of all start knowing how common it is. What are the dimensions? What are the issues? And we want you fill it and then send it like wildfire across your network. Encourage your colleagues, let them fill it in. Let them fill it in so that we can have clarity as a people. Okay? And once this is done, we will not generate the data and we keep it. We are going to publish it so that it will be documented out there and people can know what is happening in Africa. And you see, this can also help to generate further discussions. And we have ideas of things we would like to do going forward. So please take 10 minutes of your time, fill it in once you receive the link after this evening's class, and please share with your network, encourage your colleagues, encourage everyone to participate in this so that our voice will be heard. Thank you very much. And I believe that you would do your best in this regard. All right, I have a hand. If anyone, Daniel, please go ahead. If anyone, Daniel, please unmute yourself and speak. Do you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right.
No,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
All
we
right.
can.
I see if anyone, Daniel, raising their hand. I've given you the floor. Please speak up. Okay, she's not speaking. All right. Yeah, let's call on group number 5. Group number 5, please give us your nuggets and please keep it within 5 minutes. Group number 5. Let me see who is presenting for group number 5. Please raise your hand. For those who just joined, I said, please put your group number to your name so that it's easy. We have lots of things we're going to do in groups today. So put your group numbers to your name and it will be easy for us. Who is presenting for group number 5? Who is presenting a nugget?
Me, I'm failing to share my screen. Sorry, I'm also failing to raise my hand. I don't know whether it's a network challenge. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Abdul from Zambia representing group 5. And our nugget is titled The Pressure to Publish Pushes Down on the Quality. So our outline, there was a background, we'll talk of the challenges and consequences and implications of poor quality of research. So a quick overview. Daniel Sherwitz published an article in which he says that scientists must publish less, or good research will be swamped by the ever-increasing volume of poor work. This is in line with the ever-growing database that we have of by the use of the internet So it has made a lot of resources available, and there is no quality check on how these resources get uploaded into the web. So he talked about a compromise between the quality versus the quantity of the research. And according to Oxford Dictionary, there's one slogan that is used: to publish or perish, which puts a certain pressure upon publishers to try and increase on the quantity as compared to the quality of the researchers. So as I said, widespread availability of data makes it easy for scientists to obsess about the productivity and impact and to make comparisons between their numbers and those of other scientists. So a scientist in one country can be making comparisons to other scientists in other countries and feel that he is not doing enough. He needs to do more researches. So the number of publications continues to grow exponentially. So there are two sides to this. If more is good, then the trends for science are favorable. If we have more data, we can make better use of it. But the other side of it is, what if more is bad? So this is a challenge for worse research and its consequences. The quality problem has reared its head in ways that cannot be anticipated because it's being blown out of proportion. We have unsustainable trends of quality checks, and we cannot, these quality checks cannot be maintained amid such growth. So the mainstream scientific leaders increasingly accept that large bodies of published research are unreliable. There's a lot of data available, but this data is of poor quality as it has been used in research. So examples that we have is in the field of cancer science, known as oncology, in which it has been discovered that many cell lines used for research turn out to be contaminated. So why is this a problem? It is said that despite poor quality research being done, these articles and publications are still being cited by other researchers. So between 10 to 20 times within a course of 5 years, these publications are being cited. So what this implies is that approximately 10,000 published papers a year are being cited, despite them being of poor quality and coming from data that was coming from contaminated cell lines. So what are we concluding out of all of this? There is need for better powered evidence. There is very strong need for quality checks in researchers, and there is need to control bias through enhanced research standards to curtail the prejudices. This ends our presentation as Group 5. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Group 5, for keeping to your time. 3 minutes you spent is fantastic. All right, and I think the message is clear. Quantity versus quality. Quantity versus quality. There is another course we have. We'll be running. I think that will be running. If I'm not, I think I will recall. I think in June, July or so. Quality, productivity, and impact. This is a very fantastic course, and it's in terms of course fee, that is the very lowest course we have in terms of fees. So please find a way to register for it. You will be happy you did. You'll be happy we did. Did it for the first time last year, and it was as a result of need. It was clear, or it's still clear, that many African researchers lack the skills to develop research questions that are impactful or that have impact. That is one. The second thing is that there is also a preference for quantity in Africa. And that is why many African researchers are swindled into publishing in predatory journals. All right? Predatory journals. But in that course, we go from question conception to integrate the aspect of quality and impact, and then we look at the issue of productivity as well. So please find a way to register for that course. I think it will be helpful, and tell your colleagues as well. All right. Let me continue with my presentation. Okay, so some of the things I'm going to run through it. Some of the things I'm going to present were actually meant for last week, but there's no qualms. I think we achieved quite a lot last week through discussions we had. So I will tell you, how do we make research true? How do we make our research reproducible? How do we avoid research misconduct? And I presented to you that in 2005, John Iannone, this was the one who wrote that classical paper. And most published research are false. All right. And then later on, he wrote this one, how to make more published research true. Okay. And so he made a proposal of different indicators we should take into account to make our research more reproducible and true. All right. The first one he mentioned is large scale collaboration, adoption of replication culture, registration of studies, protocols, analysis codes, data set, raw data, and results, sharing of data, protocols, materials, reproducibility practices, containment of conflicted sponsors and authors, more appropriate statistical methods, standardization of definitions and analysis, improvement of study design standards, improvements in peer review, reporting and dissemination, better training of scientific workforce in method and statistical literacy. See, many of these here we have been discussing, okay? And some of those will be integrated in the project you are running. And we have started. The first is to make a mini protocol. And from that mini protocol, we can go to the next stage. How you collect your data, how you analyze it, it makes it easier for anyone to go through what you have done, and we'll be able to trace your steps and perhaps can repeat what you have done in your absence. So this is his proposal, and I think these are fantastic ideas. In 2015, a symposium was had by institutions, organizations that are working towards promoting reproducibility in research in England. And in the end, they had proposals as well. All right. Open data, it's openly sharing results and the underlying data with other scientists, pre-registration of protocols, all right, collaboration, automation of the research processes to avoid human error, open methods, publicly publishing the detail of a study protocol, post-publication review, continuing discussion of a study in a public forum after it has been published. Most are reviewed before publication. But what about post-publication reviews? That's one of the things they are proposing. Then adhering to reporting guidelines that have been proposed to enhance communication of scientific studies. All right. And these are similar things to what John proposed, or to some extension. All right. And then in 2014, the Lancet is one of the leading medical public health journals in the world. All right. And they commissioned series of papers, invited top scientists who have been sounding the warning of waste in scientific research. Waste in the sense that lots of money is being invested in scientific research, but very little actually produce the evidence that we need to make decisions, the evidence that we need to make a change. It means that much of the money we put into research actually are wasted, because many researchers end up not doing research in the way that we yield trustable results. And so they commissioned this, and they made several proposals as well. I'm just letting you know that this discussion has been there for some time, and there are documentations that have been made on how scientists can improve their research approach. And this is because, as we have always sounded on this platform, being a scientist is not a joke. It's not something you wake up and you join the bandwagon. It's not something you say, well, I can contribute. Of course you can contribute, but it's much more beyond that. And I've said it often, that what we do, if we do it well, it becomes an opportunity to transform our field, our research field, transform our society. One of my PhD students yesterday, she sent me results of one of the papers she has been working with, to the analysis. And she sent it to me. I was full of smile, because that result has the capacity to make a huge contribution. All right? And so why I smile is what that will do to the field, what that will do to clarity of our understanding in this area, and what that will do in the future in clinical practice. Okay? So the research we do has to have a target. And if we know the implications of what we do, that it will become an avenue for transformation, then we wear our coat both with pride and with caution. Our motivation becomes bigger, because we realize that our mandate is big. Our mandate is big. And so it means that any mistake that we make, anything that we do that is incongruent with that mandate is a setback, and it can become very harmful. Very harmful. Very harmful. That is why we have the call to follow the guidelines, follow the processes, so that our result can yield, our effort can yield results that will contribute to a better society. All right, so how do we make our research reproducible? All right. And as you can see on the screen, reproducibility is an ingredient of every stage of the research process. It must be integrated, both at the study design and execution, data analysis, and dissemination. Reproducibility needs to be integrated. Someone should be able to study what you have done, look at how you have approached your research, and it raises confidence that this has been well done. So it needs to be integrated throughout all stages of the research process. The study design and execution, data analysis, and dissemination. So our research needs to be reproducible, it needs to be transparent, it needs to be collaborative. I teach another course here and as well within ASFI, and that is the next course we'll be teaching, systematic reviews and meta-analysis. And that is one course I think that you will be happy you don't miss. You'll be happy you don't miss it. If you have not registered, please register. For those who are ASFI members, judicious discount have been given to you. Please take it. It is for this year. You never know what happens next year. So please take it and attend the course. Those who are not ASFI members, we invite you to join so that you can take benefit of all this. But if not, if you want to stay away, no problem, no problem, no problem. We don't force you. But you also have judicious group discounts we have offered. The systematic review course is a course where all ASFI courses are impactful, but a course that provides you some basic skills that are easily overlooked. All right. And in that course, I will teach people that if you find a piece of research, a piece of systematic review paper, and you're reading it and it is done by only one author, then it's not acceptable, because the systematic review research, for it to be systematic, there's need for at least 2 people. All right. And so that emphasizes the need for collaboration in research. Collaboration in research. Many times, researchers feel maybe more comfortable going alone in their research. But that is actually, in the world we live nowadays, that is actually a minus than a plus. So seek for collaboration. Seek for collaboration. And one thing that has opened up within the space of ASFI is that we have been able to allow people to link up, create a platform for people to link up, identify common interests. Some people have gone to apply for grants. Some people have gone to work on papers. Some people have gone to work together in research, in projects. So look for collaboration. Collaboration is one of the ingredients that will enhance reproducibility. Because with more than one person, there is that room for check and balances. There's that room for extended contributions that can happen. And once that happens, it increases the chance of the impact of your research. So reproducibility affects all the stages of the research process. That is the point I'm trying to bring to you. And so in your research design and execution, think reproducibly. In your data analysis, think reproducibly. In your publication dissemination, think reproducibly. And the nuggets Group 5 has presented this evening are like the need to think more of quality than quantity. So if you have that mindset, you will look back to the 10 years behind since you started implementing reproducibility in your research. You will look back to see that you have done well. Your research is stand the test of time. It's making the necessary impact. It's making collaboration. It will be a point of reference. All right. Yeah, study design. When you are designing your study, first of all, develop a protocol. All right, develop a protocol. And when you develop a protocol, register it. In the project we are doing, we are not asking you to register it, but we have told you to develop a protocol. In real life, and I know this is not something that is common in every field, but in many fields are adopting this strategy. In medical sciences, public health, the strategy has been established. And some social sciences and some other fields, the strategy has been established. The practice has been established that you develop a protocol, and if you have opportunity to register it, that is fantastic. And I think nowadays there is no excuse not to register it, because there are platforms now to register your study protocol. Okay? And look at what it says here, that pre-registration makes your science better by increasing the credibility of your studies. It helps to prevent publication bias. You see, you have submitted your protocol now. And this is what happens sometimes when misconduct comes in, that people have started their research and then they do the research and they do the analysis, their hypothesis is not confirmed. What they have thought before is not what they are seeing. And so at that point, they begin to change. But if you have a protocol that is registered, which outlines what you actually plan to do before you start doing them, we can check what you have done. And so when you submit your paper with your protocol in hand, we can see whether what you proposed to do is what you have done. And if you have made any change, if that is documented. And so pre-registration of protocol makes your science better and increases the credibility of your research. It helps to prevent publication bias. Yes, it helps to prevent publication bias. So please register. And in the field of health, medicine, and many fields are also taking advantage of the registration platforms that are there. You have these platforms that you can register your study protocol. And I don't have documentation of what is happening across all fields, but I think as the practice is increasing, many fields are developing opportunities for researchers to register their protocol. All right. I saw a hand, I think. Is the hand down? Clara? Okay.
Yes, sir. I raised my hand initially because I wanted to ask how to go about this registration of protocol. I'm just hearing about.
You're just hearing about it now. Yes. And to be frank with you,
first time.
you're just here for the first time.
Sir.
And I think you're not alone. Many people here would also be hearing for the first time. And I've given you links here. Check it out. Many of the organizations here or the platforms here have the items they want you to include in the form you're submitting. So check it out. and work on that. This is an area that has quite developed in many fields. I see another hand. Let me see. That hand is down. I didn't catch the name. Okay. Okay, I have Jegede, and then I have Volution. Jegede, please share your place.
Good evening, Prof. Let me start by saying thank you very much for. We must also commend you for the great work you are doing in Africa to make sure that we bridge the gap between the developed and developing country. We thank you so sincerely. We hope that several of your type will be available in Africa to be doing this great work you are doing. And as Africans, we must continue to appreciate people. I get in contact with you during a systematic review, and since that time I'll be following you. I like the way you deliver your activities, and it's something to encourage you for. So I just want you to, I listened to the presentation that you have done today, including all the other ones that were done since we started this course about reproducibility, and more importantly, some of the violations or some of the misconduct among researchers. I know, okay, so I'm of a laboratory colony. I work in the laboratory. So why I'm bringing this to the fore now is that I just want you to comment about the issue of the COVID-19 that happened recently, 2020, 2019, 2021, and then it faces off in 2022. There will be a lot of concern among researchers, and I've had this comment from very erudite scholar about how the COVID actually came into being, then the process that led to the approval of the vaccine that was later used to contain that very particular pandemic, and how adverse reactions from those research are actually manipulated. So this is a very greater point that is affecting out even the credibility of science generally. You heard some of our colleagues are saying research is now a politicized something. So please, can you just comment about it? Because some of the people that even took the vaccine, that was used for the clinical trial, they also came on different fora to say, oh, our adverse reaction that was actually reported, including platelet clot and some other thing like that, were never reported. And they were actually removed out of the adverse reaction to make sure that people actually accept that vaccine. This is the point I wanted to address. Thank you.
Well, this is a very controversial thing, and I think if we get into this, we will not end discussion here. People have their different opinions, so I will try to avoid that. I will try to avoid getting into this discussion. This may not be the best forum to do it. Perhaps we can raise different forum to look at those issues. But I think to a great extent, the world has really passed that stage. And I must say that the vaccine was not as bad as it was painted in many places. It actually brought lots of succor to the pandemic. All right. Did it eradicate the pandemic? No. And usually it is not meant to eradicate the pandemic. Rather, it's meant to give protection to a greater proportion of the population. Now, with regards to the process of generating data to support or not support the vaccine, this is what we are in science. Science is nowadays a political weapon in many quarters. That one I agree with you. At the individual level of the scientists, or when it goes to the point of this issue where industry has an interest, all right, it becomes a big weapon to do lots of things. But in the general sense, there is in this kind of issue that affects people globally, there is a greater attention to monitor, all right, than to be ignorant about it. So if you look at the website I shared with you, Retraction Watch, if you go there, you will see lots of COVID-related publications that have been withdrawn or retracted, many of them from top journals in the world because of suspected malpractices, misconduct. And so the world is watching, and if the world is not watching, some of those things will not be happening. But is it everything that will be caught? No. And that is why we are teaching this, so that everybody will develop the habit of, even if nobody is watching you, you have the habit of making your research reproducible. All right, that's why we are teaching this. Otherwise, we can say, well, everybody do what they want. No, we can't do that, because we need to improve what we are doing as scientists. You can't catch everything. People will manipulate the system because it's not everybody who is in this journey with you that has a good agenda. All right. So I will stop on that here. The main point here is the COVID generated lots of controversy, both at the research level, politically, and economically. And it's not something that we can exhaust in discussing really here. But the point here now is for us to, going forward, how do you make your own research more reproducible and avoid practices that will contravene our mandate as a scientist. All right, Folution David Abraham, please.
Yes, Prof. Good evening. I just want to ask about this registering of protocols, because I want to ask, how do you manage this? In the course of your work and the publication, you might discover that you changed the protocol, but you have already registered it. So then how do you manage it so that the publication will not be faulted?
Yes, so you mean that after you have submitted a protocol and it's published, and then you have done your research and there is a change that happens? Is that your question?
Yes.
Okay. So yes. Yeah. So when you propose your protocol, okay, we are human beings. It is not everything that you will anticipate. It's not everything you will know that will happen. All right. That is why we are human beings. All right. When that happens, that after you have registered the protocol, you made adjustment, you make an amendment, or you modify something on the way, then when you're reporting your paper, listen carefully to this. When you're reporting your paper, have a section in your paper where you can title it protocol amendment or protocol modification, where you can say that in our protocol, we initially stated to do this, but for this reason, we couldn't do it. Instead, we did it this or that. All right? You see, what we are discussing in this course is transparency. It's transparency. It's a seamless process. It's a process people can understand and follow and are happy that you have done things in the right way. So you do that. So you have that section in your paper. That solves the problem. I hope this is clear to you, Folution. And then I have
yes.
Yeah, Christopher Chika, please. I have Christopher Chika. I see your hand up.
Prof, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, please, I don't want to go after this from where I came. Can you kindly please show a light on this protocol?
I'm not hearing your line is so bad. Your line is so bad.
Can you throw more light on the research protocol, please? Just take
All
a
right.
few minutes. I don't want to. Yeah, research protocol.
Okay.
What does it really mean? Protocol really mean research. Thank you.
Okay. Well, you know, before you start your research, you first of all do what they call research proposal, right? And the research proposal can be for different purposes. It can be for grants, it can be for ethics committee, it can be for different organizations. All right, you write the proposal, and the proposal outlines what you're going to do, and so on and so forth. The protocol is smaller than the research plan, but this protocol is a document that you use to describe the process of the research, the measurement, if you're recruiting participants, the instrument, how the research is going. So something you do beforehand, and this protocol, all right, will now be registered. So it's a document that outlines what you are planning to do in your research. It's as simple as that. And that is done before the research. So the protocol is not something you do after the research has started. It's something you do before the research starts. I hope that is clear enough for you. And that is why you are doing it within your group. That's why we ask you to do within your group, to have a mini protocol of what you are going to do with the question that you have chosen to pursue in your research. Well, I don't know all that is happening in computer science, but what I'm discussing with you now is a general thing that is happening. If computer people have not adopted it, or you have not come across it, that is a different thing. But I believe with the level of misconduct that is happening and the movement for reproducibility in research, it will catch up with computer science if it has not gone there. But you, being in this course, you become one of the first recipients, and you can go back with the ideas you have gained to begin to find a way to transform your own field, whether from your own whether from your own local institution, or nationally or internationally. The difference between proposal and protocol. The proposal is the big document, all right, that includes everything, all kinds of things. But the protocol is a smaller version of the proposal for instance, the proposal, you have how different measurement to be made, okay? But in the protocol, you summarize that. The protocol is usually for the scientific community, all right, to have a general framework of how your research is being done. But the proposal is both in-house, primarily, and then in many cases for the ethics committee. The ethics committee, because the ethics committee would want to have
pictures they have.
The ethics committee will want to have details of all that you're going to do. So the proposal is the bigger document that provides detailed picture of your research, while the protocol is a summarized version for the scientific community. Okay, I saw another hand, Abdul Hamidu, or is it?
Yes, sir, Prof. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for this explanation. So my question is, after sending a proposal or protocol to ethics committee, now and then you are waiting for them, and then you decide to go ahead and then finish your paper and send it for publication. If it is accepted, is that on ethical practice?
Yeah,
That's number one.
You can't do the research if the ethics committee has not given you the permission. You can't do it.
Okay, thank you. The second one is that in some cases in Nigeria, the protocol takes so long a time that if, for example, you are doing a study that demands, for example, immediate time lapse, for example, rainy season, and then the protocol is not come till after the rainy season, so it will still remain unethical for you to go ahead and do it.
So you mean the protocol has not come? What do you mean? You mean you have submitted your proposal to the ethics committee? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
and they have not approved it.
They've taken a long time to approve it, and then you are talking about assessing maybe farmers' produce between a period of so
okay.
Is that unethical?
Yeah, the first rule is that if you have submitted your proposal for ethics approval, you can't do anything until you get that decision. You can't do that. If you do anything, it's unethical, and you can't do that. That is the first thing. The second thing is that, yes, this situation can happen, maybe due to laxity in the function of the ethics committee, or due to so much they have in their hands. So this process is quite slow. But I think the solution is that where there is manpower, in many places, they have expedited process in which the ethics committee can have a priority queue, and it may lead the researchers to pay extra money for them to process that, where if the research requires quick decision to do it, for instance, due to seasonal changes like you have made, and I think that is one process the ethics committee can really work to reduce that issue, that problem. But this depends on the manpower they have. So I know your situation is not that easy in many cases, but you can't start the research without the ethics approval.
Sorry, lastly, one last question. For now, if one has seen take an example with the questionnaire sent to us, the survey questionnaire. Is it compulsory that one will have to now, if you want to, for example, localize, domesticate the questionnaire to a very small setting, for example, a faculty, is it wrong to pick some part of the questionnaire without informing the main authors? Is it unethical if I don't inform the main authors, or I must have to inform the authors of the questionnaire that I'm using part of?
It's as simple as that. Just contact them and get their permission. I think in most cases they will give you a go ahead. So don't just do it. Sometimes some questionnaires are public documents. They are public documents. So if the authors have developed the questionnaire and you want to use their questionnaire, just contact them and they say, well, can you give us permission to use this to do our research? It's as simple as that. And then you clear everything. If they have not released it out, there's a possibility that when you publish, if they come in contact with us, say, but how did this guy use this thing without contacting us? So just send an email or send WhatsApp, contact them. This is the situation we're facing, and then I think that is still the what we call the transparency issue we are talking about in science, and it solves lots of problems for you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, I have Victor and then Hashim, and then we'll move on. Victor, please. Victor Gordon.
Good afternoon, Prof. Yes,
good evening from here.
Yes, I'm in the computer science domain. I heard you mention that you were not too much aware of the computer science, and so we do the same thing. You know, I'm a final year PhD student, and I'm in the process. I'm doing one already. So in our field is also it typically follows a structured approach to identify, evaluate, and synthesize the relevant research studies. So the protocol also serves as a predefined plan for conducting the systematic review, so ensuring transparency and minimizing bias. So we also go through the same process, especially if you should have, let's say, the more research questions you have or the review questions, the more work you have to do. Because for each review question, mine happens to be 7, research questions, for instance. And for each of them, what I had to do was for each of them, I have to specify the key concepts. And so if the research question 1, I have 6 concepts. For each of these 6 concepts, I have to look for the synonyms, the related terms and the keywords, and then define the search strings for those ones. And I have to repeat it for all the 7 questions. And so you have so much data to deal with. I think it's the same with the other disciplines, Prof.
All right. So okay, thank you very much for confirming that. Okay, Hashim, finally, then we'll move on, please.
Yes, good evening, Prof.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm a social scientist by training. In our discipline, we have different, in fact, sometimes contradicting types of methodologies. From that has to do with empiricism, the one that has to do with triangulation of data, and then another methodology that is purely qualitative, is not about empiricism. And that is where I'm having confusion, even with the reproducibility. How can it be merged into social scientific research? And then coming to the new one for me today, registering of the protocol, though I'm also engaged in health communication research. But I don't know if Prof can give me more insight on how these 2 concepts, reproducibility and then registering of protocol, can be fostered in social scientific research, particularly the subjective part of social science research that doesn't have to do with any empirical data. Thank you, Prof.
All right. I'm not talking about empirical data here, Hashim, but I have a question for you. In your field, you write a proposal before you start your research?
Is a must.
Okay. And do you happen to submit your proposal to an ethics committee?
That is where, for now, in my university, I don't think, but you will have to submit it to your supervisors, and you have to defend it to a committee set up by either the department or the faculty.
All right. So if you happen to write a proposal, you say it's a must, then writing up a protocol is simple then.
Okay.
I want you all to get the idea we are talking about in this course. The word reproducibility perhaps is a big word, and some of you may be hearing it for the first time. And I know the day we defined it, I asked you to propose synonyms. And one of the synonyms that cut across in different groups was transparency. The goal is to understand that the research you do, whether it's a qualitative research or quantitative or whatever name you call it, the goal is to make contribution to knowledge and generate impact to make our society to function properly. That is a goal. And so for that reason, because we have bad eggs who have come into the system and are doing things that are not right. And so there is a call to ensure that we all are speaking the same language with regards to how we do our research. And that is the language of transparency. Transparency. And so whatever you would do to ensure that your research is transparent is what is encouraged. And once our research is transparent, then we're able to detect research that are not transparent. We're able to quickly detect research that are involved in misconduct because we have now a checklist of things to use to find out. Before you did this, right? Do you have a protocol? Did you register your protocol? Did you publish your protocol? You see, the case studies you reviewed last time, 2 weeks ago, if they had protocols developed and registered beforehand, it would have been easy to identify some of those frauds. All right? So asking for protocol is not asking for too much. It's to give you a highlight of some of the steps. If you want to make your research transparent, reproducible, it's one of the steps you need to take to achieve that. All right, let me move on. Our time is more spent on this issue.
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Why is have a protocol? It's open science practice. It promotes transparency and reliability of results. It helps to prevent certain research practices, flexible analysis, post hoc analysis, selective outcome reporting, hacking. It informs peers of ongoing research and enhances collaboration because you may submit your protocol, you may register it, and somebody identifies it and say, wow, we have been thinking about this, and contact you, can we collaborate? That has happened to me times without number. All right? Registering your protocol, or if you get to the point of even publishing it. I have published many protocols. And what happens is that if you publish it, there's an advantage that is added to it. And that advantage is that the peers in your field will review it. And many of them have good ideas to give to you to improve your research. I have received quite a lot of those, right? And when you register your protocol or you publish it, it increases the chance of publishing the main result when you have done it. All right. Sometimes if you send it for publication, some journals we accept your protocol and tell you that they will publish the protocol alongside the paper. So when you finish your work, submit the work to them. And now they have your protocol, and then they will take your protocol to see whether you have done it well according to your protocol, and the chance of publishing your main paper increases. I told you when we started, the ASFI Research Journal looks like we have a baby in our class. A baby has joined our class. Well, it's a class of adults only. Maybe reproducibility has caught the attention of babies now. Everybody wants to work with this trend. Anyway, so the ASFI Research Journal will be coming soon, very soon. And there, one of the publication types we will be accepting is the protocol, because we want to increase Africans' sensitivity regarding how the research process is done, so that they can take into account this process. All right. Okay, reproducibility in data analysis. A study is reproducible if all of the code and data used to generate the numbers and figures in the paper are available and exactly produce published results. You see, this is something many people don't do. In my group, some of the things I'm teaching in this course are, well, will I say so? All of the things they are the first things I will ensure when I get somebody into my group. You have to speak the language of reproducibility. You have to think about what you're doing. You have to inculcate the process of, if you get to the data analysis, you develop your data analysis plan. If you're analyzing it, the syntax you have used, make them intelligible, and produce them in a way that they are understandable. So when you have gone out, you have implemented your study, you have collected your data and this data analysis stage, then you need to also think about reproducibility. You need to think about transparency. You need to develop your data analysis strategy in a way that is self-explanatory. Somebody can come and not just somebody coming to repeat it and getting the same result, even for you. Sometimes you may submit a paper. I don't know if any of you has experience of submitting a paper and it takes up to a year before it is published. It takes up to a year before it's published. And the review process may take maybe 6 months, sometimes 8 months, sometimes 9 months, sometimes 10 months. And then after that, the reviewers propose that you should advance some things. You should change some things. You should reduce some analysis. Okay? And then you go back. You begin to, what did I even do here? What did I do? What did I do? Has that happened to any of you here? Maybe not.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, the way you can curtail that is if you have reproducibility practices in which you have developed a process that documents the analysis you have done, the process you have taken. I didn't say you should omit yourself, because somebody is taking advantage now because I asked a question. All right. You document how you have analyzed your data. You have outline of your syntaxes done. You'll be able to go back, even if it's 2 years, you'll be able to go back there and you can easily follow what you have done yourself. That is reproducibility in action. All right, scientists should communicate the data they collect and the models they create to allow free and open access and in ways that are intelligible. That word is important, accessible, and usable for other specialists. Where data justify it, scientists should make them available in an appropriate data repository. And so it's not only about you, it's also for the sake of others who may tap into what you have done or may want to cross-check what you have done. And if you have made your processes intelligible, clearly transparent, then they can easily find out what you have done, and then they can give you kudos for the process you have used. So the data, the code, the documentation, you should make them reproducible. And in the project you are working with now, all right, one of the things you have been asked to do is, what questions from the questionnaire we have are you using? Document that. How did you transform the data? Document that. Did you record the variables? Document that. All right, document that. Document it. Document it. Document it. Document it. Because that's what we'll be assessing in 2 weeks' time, how you accomplish that project. That project is meant to help you to appreciate that process of reproducibility. All right? And there are many tools across software that are available nowadays for those who are quantitatively biased that you can use to document your data analysis process. All right, so data analysis plan, develop your data analysis plan and indicate the step-by-steps you have taken. And in some cases, this is not mandatory. In some cases, you can also register your data analysis plan in some cases, okay? You can register that, but it's not important. Well, this is one of the analysis when I was an amateur. This was one of the analysis plan I did. Even though it was at a time I was an amateur, I still appreciate it today because with this, even if I am not there to explain, anybody who sees this figure here is able to understand what I have done. All right, the first step, the second step I took, the third step I took, the fourth step I took, the fifth step, the sixth step, the seventh step I took in working through this project. This is the data analysis stage of this project. All right, and so this is good to think about. When you are editing your data, when you're cleaning your data, when you are analyzing your data, ensure you indicate your processes in a reproducible way. All right, your coding, your syntaxes should be available. And then reporting and dissemination. Yes, if you go to this website, let me show you. This is the Equator Network. This is the Equator Network. And this Equator, enhancing the quality and transparency of health research. That is the full name of Equator. It's a group of scientists across the world who got worried with how scientific publications are being reported. And then they set out to find a way to support that process so that scientists can report their results in systematic and reproducible manner. And they have provided reports across many study designs. You see, they say 610 reporting guidelines. Those who do qualitative research, because I know some of you have a guideline here you can use to report your qualitative research properly. Of course, this is in health research, but it also affects other aspects. I have seen computer people who have used these guidelines. I've seen people from the social sciences, humanities, they are helpful. So even if your field does not have such a system, this can be helpful for you to see what people are doing. And so this has lots of resources that you can take note of. Take note of. All right, that is the equator. The equator is a system that have been in place for some time now, and they are proposing different reporting guidelines to support the dissemination and reporting of scientific publications. All right. Yeah. I wouldn't send you out for this because we'll not have time, but in the review process as well, we have what is called conventional review process, in which you send your paper to a journal, and the journal will appoint reviewers, and the reviewers may, it can work in this way. Some journals have a system that when a paper is submitted to the journal, you have, is it triple, no, it's not triple, two-sided blindness, so that the reviewer does not know the authors and the authors do not know the reviewers. All right, and the reviewers will review the paper. But you have single blinding, in which, and which is the most common in the conventional system, in which the reviewers will know the authors, but the authors will not know the reviewers. And then you submit, the editors will send your manuscript to the reviewers, and the reviewers will review. All right, that is the conventional way. But the open peer review process is a process nowadays in which people, double-blinded peer review, yeah, right, in which journals now, and this has been based on the discussion of improving the scientific process. And so, where if all of us are working towards transparent science, so why do we hide who reviews your work? Why don't we open it up so that people will know who has done that? And so the open peer review process is a system whereby the reviewers, we know the authors, because the reviewers will have the names of the authors, and the authors will know the reviewers because the reviewers will sign their review. Whether the open peer review is better than the conventional one is a thing of debate. That's what I wanted you to discuss here, but we wouldn't have time for that. Perhaps we can continue the discussion perhaps on the platform. We can pose a question on that. But for the open peer review, it has really gained interest in recent times. The reviewers not only will sign their report, for some journals, they will publish the reviewer's review and the author's response alongside the paper. All these are done to improve the peer review, peer review process, and to increase reproducibility. All right, and then there are different platforms we call the archive platforms, in which you can send your paper to these platforms at the same time you have submitted to a journal. And these platforms, they are not publishing platforms. They are peer platforms in which you send it, and peers in your field can read your paper, make contributions. Many journals nowadays buy into the idea that we need to increase the reproducibility of science and transparency. Many journals nowadays encourage authors who submit to them that they have the freedom to also post their paper to these archive systems while the paper is under review. Okay, and then the post-publication peer review, and that is an encouragement that the review of the paper should not be only before it is published. After it's published, discussions on the paper should also continue. And if any abnormality is identified, then we need to work on that as well. And that is the reason why many papers that have been published have been withdrawn because of this process. All right, yeah, the protocol we have discussed. And then the impact factor, yeah, I wouldn't go into detail into that, how it is calculated. You can get the slide, but one thing here is that the impact factor coming into play, it has been a motivation for many people to publish their papers in high impact factor journals. And I think this motivation, some people have argued, has been the source of many people manipulating their data because they want to publish in top journals. And you can see that some of the cases you reviewed, that was underlying motivation. They were published in top journals. And many authors want to publish in the top journals because when you publish, there increases your chance. For instance, if you want to get grants, if you want to get promotion, if you want to be recognized, and so people manipulate their data and get it published in top journals. So there is that argument, does the impact factor really help in the scientific process, or it causes? Well, anything good can always be turned bad by a few people. It doesn't mean that that thing is bad in itself. Okay, academic incentives. Publication is a core output in science. It's used for employment, funding, promotion, and tenure. But what happens is that papers or projects that yield so-called positive results, our expected results, are more likely to be published than those that do not yield our expected results. All right? And because of that, for authors to get their papers published and published in top journals, sometimes they can manipulate that process because they know this is what happens in the field. All right? It is when my results are in this direction I can publish that. All right? And when I publish that, when I publish in top journal, I get a reward. The reward that comes to me is that I may get promotion, I will get funding, and other. So there is an incentive that is made on publication. There's an incentive, whether in quality or in quantity. There's an incentive. And that is where we have come to the point where we say, publish or perish. Publish or perish. And so many authors struggle hard to publish to make impression, because once they do that, there is an incentive that they get back. That is a problem we have now. And because that is incentive, some people have argued, it has led to many people manipulating their results, cutting corners, and engaging in practices that are not good. All right. Okay, I wanted to send you out. I will do it, but I will give you 15 minutes. I will give you 15 minutes. And let me let me get the links here and put it on the chat box. I want you to take a look at this situation. So if you have not put your group number to your listing, please do that. And when you do that, appoint somebody who will take, I will take 40 seconds to tell us in few words your impression of what you have seen from these links. So I put the links in the chat box here so that you can have it. You can take a picture of what is in front of you. Appoint somebody from your group who will come. I will quickly go through the groups. If nobody in any group, I will pass through and then you will come back. Okay? So please join your group. In 15 minutes time, I will bring you back. Then we deal with this before we go to our debate. All right. So please join your group. Join your group. All right, group number 1, I see Timothy. Yes, please make it snappy. Group number 2, raise your hand. Group number 3, group number 4, all the groups representatives, please raise your hand so I know who is coming up. Yeah, Timothy, the floor is yours.
All right, good evening again, Prof, and good evening to all participants. For group 1, we read the articles, and then what our submission is that we all know that the South Korean professors are currently under investigation or are under investigation for listing their children as co-authors. And we submit that the reason they are doing this is for incentive and noting the highly competitive nature of academic admissions into institutions in that country. They want an advantage for their children or their wards, and that is why they have entered into this practice. However, our view is that suppose that the children were contributing actively, suppose that the children had the pedigree, the skill level, the qualification sufficient enough to be able to make adequate contribution, that would have been good practice. However, the information there is that their contributions are questionable because these are little children in in high school that may not have the pedigree to contribute sufficiently to the subject matter by these professors. And therefore, we have the opinion or view that such is fraudulent practice and should be highly investigated, and the submission should be treated well enough. Thank you very much, Prof. That's our submission.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Habibu Haliru, please, group number 2.
Yes, sir. Our submission from the group was that the including of these young children in research papers may be as a way of by some of the professors in South Korea. As we suggested, we give our individual opinion that maybe they are doing it as a result of competitive nature of gaining admission in their universities. Majority of our members suggested this reason, but we are looking at it as in such a way that if these young children were included as a result of their contribution to the manuscript writing of these papers, we call it that one. It has no problem in the research, in the integrity of research. But other way around, if these people have not contributed anything to the manuscript and they try to include them consistently, we all consider it unethical, and that is unprofessional. It's unethical and unprofessional.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so please, if you're coming and the other groups have said what you have, just say that you agree with what they have said, then we save time. But yes, the background here is that the South Korean professors are including their children in publications because gaining admission into the university, especially medical education, is tough. So the children showing on their CV, they have publications, then they can compete the other children and then can gain admission. So just give your thought. If other groups have said what you discussed, then just say you agree with that. All right, I have Bakari Kinte, group number 3.
Okay, thank you, Prof, for presenting for group 3. Other groups have actually mentioned what we've discussed, but then we have 2 other points that supports the activity. One, catching them young, like is an initiative to introduce young people to research as early as possible. If they are doing it in that better manner, and then they are trying to encourage them to have that research background from the early onset, it's going to be a good idea to transit to a certain point. And it's also going to serve as a research training for those young people, if actually the youngs are already involved into the authorship and also they are taking of roles and responsibility. But despite the negative side, it is all part of academic frauds and then favorism to a particular set of a family to say the father is a professor, the child is a professor as early as that age. This is what we have discussed. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Shaima, group number 4, please.
Yes, actually, all the group was discussing the same as the previous groups, and they said that it is not. Actually, could be not much ethical that include someone who was not involved in the research. However, I had an idea about. Are we sure they didn't involve? Could they? What if the children done something like making the primary research or writing the review? Shouldn't they be involved in the authorship? I think so. But according to the published paper about this issue, they said that they were not known. They didn't know anything about the subject of the papers they are put on.
All right.
So I think if they are involved in anything, they should be doing. They should be added to the authorship. Thank you.
All right. So clearly, the issue here, just for your information, is that the professors were doing it, not primarily because the children were involved in the research, but to increase their chances of getting admission. All right, I have Moji Shola for group number 6.
Yes, thank you very much. We concluded that there's no justification for the professors adding their kids. The only addition that we have is that in the first place, there should not be a need to have young people who have no experience in research show that they have published papers before they gain admission into top universities. If that is required, then the schools that they finished from should be responsible to ensure that that is not their parents who happen to be researchers. Thank you.
All right. And then I have, for group number 7, I have Vishnu, is it?
Yes, Vishnu, thank you very much. So I think we basically agree with most of what the other groups have said. And I think what we also noticed these were high school and middle school kids. So it was very difficult to appreciate why they would take part in research. And another thing we were wondering was how come the journals in which these studies were published, didn't they try to find out about where these kids were affiliated to, so that they will find out whether these schools were in high school or they were actually working in maybe the universities that they said they were affiliated to. So we were thinking that probably the professors may have fabricated information about their kids to be able to have their publication go through. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And it is quite easy. I don't think this is the problem of the journal. because if the professors have used their own affiliations as that of their children, then the journal will have no issues. And of course, it's possible that they have used, if it's a boy, they have used Mr. And if it's a girl, perhaps they have used Miss to identify them. So the age of the authors is not usually what the journals ask for. All right, I have Fatima for group number 5.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I read also, and our group also agree with the other groups in their opinion, but there's something I need to add that when we're reading about this issue, which talking about the including of South Korean academics, their kids as co-authors, there is a misconduct uncovered that there is a technology, it's called Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, which said that this problem is likely go far beyond those cases uncovered so far. They said that their impression is that this practice is more widespread than we might think. So I think they only covered some cases, not the all cases, and it's also it's unacceptable that they said also they don't like college emphasizing publications in admission process because high school students can't be involved in research seriously because they don't have actual skills to be involved as co-authors in the publication. So because publication achievement can be misused for admission. So I think our group thought that in this problem, the South Korea academics were unethical. It's unacceptable to add their children for publications.
All right, thank you very much. And then I have Mfon Clement Utin, please.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Actually, what other people said is what we actually agreed in our group. But in addition to that, we also discussed about in terms of job security, so that once they're done with their school, they will have job and also promotion. We also talk about it because of funding opportunities, so that once they have funding, everything will be assessed within them in their family. We also mentioned about in terms of scholarship, that since there are some qualifications in order for one to have people to have scholarship, they want to give them more papers so that anytime there's opportunity for scholarship, they can, it will be easy for them to access it. Thank you.
All right, thank you all the groups for this quick insight you have made from the papers in a short time. This is an example of many malpractices and misconducts that happen. Because of the incentives that are attached to publication, many of these happen. And these people have taken that extra step. In fact, the one who started this is ingeniously manipulative. All right, to be able to think, sit down. Maybe he had a sleepless night to say, oh, okay, to get my child to be in an advantageous position, I will do this. And this is what is happening. And it's not acceptable. And that is because there's an incentive to publication. All right. For those who came late, let me mention this again before we go to the next item. I was saying that from the cases we reviewed 2 weeks ago and what we are reviewing now, or what we just reviewed now, you can see clearly that lots of misconduct are happening in the science space. But much of the data we have come from developed countries. So we don't know so much about what is happening in Africa. And so I was saying that ASFI is taking this step to collect data on research misconduct in Africa. And so after the class today, you will receive the link. And I would like to appeal again. Some of you were not here when I made the first appeal. Please, when you get it, there are 2 things we would like you to do. It's about 10 minutes you will need to use to fill this. So please spare your time and help us to do this, and we will appreciate it. The second thing is send it to your network, send it to those in your institutions. It's good that the voice of Africa is heard. It's good to have your contribution as well. So please send it to your network, send it to your institution, send it to your colleagues, and encourage them to participate in this so that we can get this data. All right, let me share the next thing. The next thing is actually group number 6 nuggets. Group number 6 nuggets. Group number 6, are you ready? Please, you have 5 minutes to tell us what you have.
Who's that? Oh, Uncle Michael. No, that's not Uncle Michael. I don't know who's that.
Who is speaking for group number? If you're not speaking, please.
I'm speaking, sir.
All right.
It's my slide.
Your screen is not showing really.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Is there anybody from your group that can help you share your screen? Group number 6. Is there anyone that can help?
We have it on our platform. If somebody can go ahead.
Because this is not showing well. Group number 6. Is there anyone that can help to share this so that we can save time, please?
Yes, the write-up is on our Group 6 platform. Somebody can share it.
Need to stop sharing so another person can share.
Hello, it's showing now, sir. Hello, sir.
Then try to share. Let's see.
Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. But
Okay,
you're not sharing now.
It's not showing there.
You have to share. You have to start sharing. You have not started
showing.
sharing.
It's not showing, Dr. Vera. It's not showing.
Okay.
It's not showing.
Okay. Is it showing now? Are you seeing it?
Yes. We can say it now, yes.
Okay.
Now, all right. So you have to run. You have to run through this because you already spent 2 minutes now of your time.
Okay. I'm sharing on behalf of Group 6. The nugget task is titled "Give Every Paper a Read for Reproducibility" by Catherine Winchester. This is our outline. Then, for the case description and its different aspects, we introduced Catherine Winchester as a research manager and molecular biologist with a wealth of research experience and project management skills. Then that continues. We said that she was she's currently working with Beaton Institute, Glasgow, in United Kingdom, and with a focus on research integrity and grant applications. But before this, she had 20 years of extensive research career as a molecular biologist, supervisor, and team leader. She supports all aspects of grants submission process, from identifying potential funding opportunities to providing generic data for grant applications. Then for the reproducibility problem in the case,
Secretary Winchester agrees that research misconduct is a very big elephant in the room that nobody actually wants to talk about. She is very innovative in her methods to actualize her goal as grant and research integrity advisor. She gives every paper a read for reproducibility, such that she thoroughly reads every paper submitted by the scientists in her institute to journals for publications. And she reads a total of 50 papers per annum. She worked hard to secure the integrity of research, and this is important component by applying friendly approach, creating awareness about the issues of misconduct in a normal and non-confrontational manner. That means she was not punitive, she is corrective. For the remedy for the problems identified in the case, our case is a positive case. She discovered the best way to boost research quality is to discuss it often and freely. She provided deliberate, regular trainings for the young researchers on data management, writing of scientific papers, and grant applications. When will they ask for more? She puts in place data archiving system, making scientists to store their published papers in organized manner and available for longer use by the public. She uses modern software for identification of research misconduct. She has high quality for the impact of the case to the field of research, science, and society. The high quality researches the Institute was produced are easier to build from because she was making sure that it ended up becoming a product by partnering with the industry to impact positively on the society. For 5 years on, the Institute did not record any retraction or serious issues with publications. Initiatives like that of Secretary Winchester, we add to the head count that we produce many researchers and provide long-term financial prudence. Her method of operation, her modus operandi, we go a long way to provide the culture where more scientists are willing to talk about misconduct and tame the elephant in the room. For further thoughts, we agree that there is need for continuity in her legacies and virtues, both at her institute and the entire research community. These are our references. Thank you.
All right, thank you, group number 6, for that. Group number 6 and 5, please remember to post your presentation, your nugget on the WhatsApp platform. Please do that. All right, we are going to the most exciting part of this evening's class. We have come from discussion, see what is happening in South Korea. And you have received the instructions for what we call the Great Debate. And I've also posted it on the WhatsApp platform now. All right, so please take a look at that. So I think you have read the instruction. I'm sending you now to breakout session, but this breakout session is not your original breakout in this course. So I will divide you into three groups, okay? This will be done randomly, just for this activity, randomly. And so if you fall out of your group because of network when you join, so please choose the group you are assigned to. There will be 3 groups. Note which one is your group. Each group, appoint somebody. We are giving only 5 minutes maximum, 5 minutes maximum to present your case. Present your case. Group number one will be arguing that academic incentivizing based on publication should be abolished. Group number one is arguing for abolishment of academic incentives based on publication. Group number two is arguing for it to be retained and continue with it. Group number three is arguing for replacement, and they will provide us insight into what alternative that will be used to replace academic incentivizing based on publication. I hope it's clear enough. You can take a picture of this. Otherwise, please take it from the WhatsApp platform, which I've put there now. All right, so let me send you out to the breakout sessions. All right.
How do we join the breakout sessions? It's not.
You will get this in from your screen. You will see that you will join.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
All right. So I've opened it, and the time start counting now. You have 30 minutes. 30 minutes to prepare, and then I will bring you back into the group. So please join your groups. All right, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. Let's see who is presenting for group number one. Please raise your hand. Let's recognize you. All right, Abdul. So you have 5 minutes, and I'm timing you. Go ahead.
Thank you. So as group one, our motion was to abolish incentivization of research to avoid misconduct. And the points that we brought out as a group is abolishing incentivization. Firstly, we'll close the loopholes for corruption and favoritism. As we saw in the case of South Korea, the professors were favoring their own children. So abolishing incentivization will close these loopholes. Secondly, it will allow for more transparent or genuine criteria when making a selection for promotion, as we can be silent on the publications as we do a more thorough quality check on the content of the publication. Thirdly, we said abolishing incentives will allow for individuals with passion for research to come out in the research and academic fields. Next, we said that abolishing incentivization will allow for the system to establish other mechanisms of non-financial motivation to conduct researchers. And lastly, we said that abolishing incentivization will level the academic field to allow individuals from low socioeconomic statuses to be able to participate in research-related activities. Thank you. This is what we had as group one.
All right. Thank you, group number one. Who is presenting for group number two?
Good evening, colleagues. My name is Olani Waji. I'm presenting for group two, and I'm here to support the motion that says academic incentive based on publication should be retained, as this will not stop misconduct. Point number one, we agree that when we incentivize academic research, it will lead to societal development. And how do we mean? When researches are done, this is where we see new development that can be used by nations, by continents, and the entire world to actually to make the world a better place. So when this is incentivized, people are motivated to do more research. Secondly, we say it promotes research development, because when people knows that, okay, guys, when I do research, there is incentive. A lot of people tend to actually talk, okay, instead of me looking for fund to pump into it, they know they are motivated to actually to conduct research. and there will be more research. Thirdly, we agree that it helps us as scientists to communicate our work to wider community, to the wider world, to the world out there. And so when it is incentivized, people are, our much work, it will be seen out there. Also, we said that when the academic research are incentivized, it improves quality of research. You know, there are instances that maybe a researcher would want to do X, Y, Z, but because of limited resources to go about it. But when you know that, okay, there will be access to grants, and so this is an opportunity to actually to make the research robust. We also agree that it can, when it is incentivized, it can help to bridge gender equality. As a case of STEM, you know that there are some areas they believe, okay, female gender, they don't so much dwell into it. But when there is incentive for people to actually, for female gender to go into it, so this tend to actually bring more female gender into some kind of research. And having said that, we also agree that even though it should be, that regulation is critical in research development, so that people don't abuse it. With this point of mind, I want to believe that you agree with us that academic research should, the incentivizing of academic research should be sustained. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Group number 2, who is presenting? Okay, group number 3, Pascal. I'm not sure why all the groups have chosen men. Were women afraid to speak? All right, group number 3, go ahead.
Okay, so group number 3, this is what we came out with. This was our point of view, looking at ways to academic incentivization based on publication should be replaced with an alternative. And what should that alternative be? So the group's ideas, where one, we believe that in research and academic institutions, there should be different tracks for teachers and researchers. For teachers to get promoted, maybe they should be based on the number of courses they are teaching and how well they teach them. And researchers, they shouldn't be too focused on the teaching, but more on the research, so that they can provide quality researchers in order to get their promotion. Also, looking at the liberty of movement and collaboration, researchers should be allowed to have free movement and collaboration. And with collaboration, we'll produce good quality research without incentivization. And also, when you're collaborating, your other peers could also keep you in check and make sure you don't get yourself involved in any academic misconduct. Therefore, researchers should be allowed to freely move and collaborate with other people all over the world and other institutions, and also not just based on promotions, but also looking at the researchers' ability to be involved in innovation in products that will help produce and then help the community at large. They should also be allowed to get involved in projects, not only research, that will make a huge impact and also leave a legacy for them and then the work they've done for the community. Also, promotion can be based on mentoring of the younger ones in terms of research methods and how they can go about their careers, and also judging researchers based on their mentoring abilities of the younger one, we think will also be a way of replacing incentives in terms of research. Also having a 360-degree feedback assessment on the performance and integrity of researchers, not just based on what they've produced or published, which could be fraudulent, but their everyday work and their interaction with their peers and how they handle themselves and how they hold themselves in high esteem should also be looked at in order to replace some of these incentives. Also, we believe that sometimes researchers have produced good work, but they find it very hard to publish, especially in resource limited countries like Africa. You can see that people have worked hard and have not been able to publish in high impact and even in their local journals for one reason or another. So giving recognition to people who've worked hard in their field, not necessarily being published, giving them that recognition will encourage them to do more in terms of research and not looking for incentives, because their work will still be recognized. And also those who may not publish, but also take who are also involved in rural work and who goes to the field to collect data and also make certain impact and policy changes, those should also be looked at and then counted as part of ways of getting people to do more in terms of research and not just focusing on publication and incentives. Thank you.
All right, great. All the groups have now presented. Before we look at the verdict, does anyone have any comment to make? If you have any comment to make before we go for the verdict, please let me see your hand so that I can recognize you. Does anyone have any comment to make? Does anyone
Yes,
want
please.
to?
Yes, please.
All right, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I want to look at the talk from group 1 and group 3. I'm from group 2. I'm Luwadi Banjo. If you don't incentivize researchers for publication, and I'm doing that thing right there in my corner in Lagos, Nigeria, or Abuja, Nigeria, how will the whole world know what is going on? And how will they help to develop my research finding? How will somebody replicate and reproduce my work and see whether it will work somewhere in Kenya, somewhere in Canada, and what have you? So I am of the opinion, along with my group, that publication should be encouraged and it should be rewarded so that researchers can do more and they can help the whole world to develop.
Are you adding more points to your this? We didn't say you should make more argument to support you. Do you have?
You said before the verdict now, so that we can bottle up.
I didn't say you should add to what your group has said. Okay, maybe it's my mistake. Now you are you are trying to make your group. Okay, Hamidu, please.
Thank you, Prof. Mine is a question. For instance, now in our department, we have what is called a course called participatory methodology. Now, on this participatory methodology, and we have a course called non-governmental organization and local governance. And then we have social welfare administration. Now, all these courses are practical kind of courses that expose students to do field work. Now, but they don't publish it in form of academic research, but they publish it in form of reports. And then the report is submitted to the local government and the state government and federal government. So in that case, I just want to ask, where will this kind of report falls in now? Because a lecturer is assigned maybe 5 students to go for that work, and they go to the communities and spend like 3 days, maybe on agricultural extension service, and then or maybe things to deal with people that are old. How are they coping with life and the rest of them? So in that case, it's not really academic, but then they bring out points that the local government and the government can use so where do you place such kind of work? That's my question. Thank you.
Well, that is a question for all of us, and I think it's a very important question we need to think about. If my research is not published, but it has impact, it is utilized, it creates opportunities locally, does it matter whether it's published or not published for it to be recognized to be an important piece of research? It's something we need to think about, because this is an aspect that also draws international attention. All right, I will take the last comment before we make the verdict. I have a name called here HP. See, somebody has taken a company's name, but that is what I see here. And I will call the person is raising the hand, HP. HP, speak, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Evaristo Kumga. Yeah, and the HP is the device that I'm using.
All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the presentation from Group 3. I think it was a very good presentation. But my little concern...
Are you from Group 3?
No, I wasn't from group 3, I was from
Okay,
group 2.
okay, go ahead.
Yes. My small concern is that when we talk about incentivizing people going for data collection, we'll be incentivizing work in progress other than completed work. And I think that if we are going to incentivize work in progress, we don't know whether that work will ever be completed, and we don't know what will come out of it. So I feel like if we're going to incentivize anything at all, it has to be work that has been completed, work that can show results. Yeah, whether it's published or not is another issue, but I feel like it's got to be work that has been completed and not work that is in progress. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I think that is very important question issue raised because I heard it at least in 2 groups. They were discussing incentivizing research, and the question we posed was incentivizing publication. Incentivizing publication. All right, so let's go for the verdict now. Let's go for the verdict. We are going to vote. So everybody bring your hands down. Everybody bring your hands down. Those who are raising their hands, bring your hands down. And because we want to go for the verdict, bring your hands down. Bring your hands down. If your hand is up. All right, you have heard the, Heather, can you bring your hands up? Thank you. You have heard the argument from group number 1, who argued that academic incentivizing based on publication should be abolished, because doing so, let me show the screen so that we can get it right. Should be abolished in Africa, as this will curtail research misconduct in the continent. Group number 2 argued that academic incentivizing based on publication should be retained in Africa, as its abolishment will not curtail research misconduct in the continent. Group number 3 says academic incentivizing based on publication should be replaced with an alternative in Africa, as this will curtail research misconduct in the continent. And what should be the alternative? All right. So based on what you have heard, based on your conviction, those who are voting for group number 1 to be the winner of this debate, please let's see your hand. Raise your hand if you are voting for group number 1. I'm gonna count. So if I count from 20 to 1, then I would ask you to remove. So 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there are 13 people for 14 people for group number 1, those who voted group number 1. So you can bring your hands down. Bring your hands down. Bring your hands down. Bring your hands down. Everyone bring your hands down. I still see a hand up. Bring your hands down. I say bring your hands down. You're raising your hand. I have not called for raising hand. I say bring your hands down. Bring your hands down. Just be patient. Just be patient. Just be patient. Some people want to win this by all means. All right. Okay. Those who are voting for group number 2 to win this debate, raise your hand, please. Raise your hand. Group number 2. Raise your hand. Group number 2. So I will count 20, 19. Keep your hands until I finish count, until I ask you to bring it down. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So group number 2, there are 26 people that voted for group number 2. Okay, you can bring your hands down. Bring your hands down, everyone. Bring your hands down. Okay, finally, for group number 3, those who are saying that group number 3 won this debate, let's see your hand, please. Raise your hand. 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 So let me count. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So there are 38 people that voted for group number 3. So the score we have, let me announce it from here. The score we have is 14% for group number 1, 26% for group number 2, and 38% for group number 3. So I declare that group number 3 has won the debate, and they have argued that academic incentivizing based on publication should be replaced. All right. I thought you should. Are you unhappy? I thought you should give them a shout or give them a clap of the hands, or everybody's quiet. Congratulations, group number 3.
Yeah. Congratulations, group 3. Congratulations.
Congratulations, group number 3.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, group number 3.
All right. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can see that this is an ongoing discussion. It's an ongoing discussion. The 3 points that we have argued for are issues that are still ongoing. And I think you can continue this discussion, perhaps not in debate form, perhaps in a panel discussion, perhaps in other forms within your institution, within your circles, within your countries. Because as you can see, the things we have reviewed, this course, the misconduct that are happening, poor standard of research, very poor quality of research articles that are coming out globally. That which is happening in Africa is not well documented. We don't know the extent that is happening, but the drive, publish or perish, is leading to a lot of things happening in the research landscape. And that is why some have gone to say that we are in the era of bad science. So the discussion should continue beyond the debate we have had, so that we can continue to put ourselves in the right place in what we do in our research. I would like to remind you again, immediately after we finish now, the link to the survey will be posted. Please, I ask you to do 2 things. please do it. Fill it in yourself. Take 10 minutes. And I tell you, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy filling this survey. It's a very, very interesting survey. You will enjoy it. So fill it in and then share it across your network. Share it across your network. And let's get this data that relates to our continent. Let's get it and ensure that we have evidence to support what we are talking about. All right. So finally, just to let you know that next week, I'm bringing three of my PhD students to showcase what they are doing with regards to implementing reproducibility in their research. We start in time, I've told them, and they will be here in time. So please join on time and let's do it. Okay, I have 3 people who have raised your hand. Nana, Garcia, Umejiego, Ikenna, and Balile. Oh, okay, Balile has you have removed your hand or you voted. You voted. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for this evening. And please continue. Okay. Adele, you have a question? You have a comment?
Oh, yes, please. So in the debate, I was with group 3. I have something to comment on. Some of the colleagues said that the idea of the question of the debate in group 3, which was on incentives, academic incentive, a replacement or alternative for academic incentives based on publication. So the idea was not finding an alternative for incentive for publication. We focused on finding an alternative for publication to have academic incentive. I'm not sure I delivered the message.
I got you. We got your point. We got your point.
Yeah. So we didn't focus on alternative for the incentive itself. No, we focus on alternative for the publication. So publication should not be the center for having incentive. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. All right, I have Ifeoma Waka. You have a comment? All right. Thank you, everyone, for this evening.
I'm really encouraged. A lot of things we have learned a lot from what is happening. And it's an eye-opener. In as much as nothing is observed about the results of these researches, and they are not used to improve our society. And what should be done concerning that? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so please work on your project, and if you have a need to invite us, if you have any question within your group, please invite us. We can meet with you. So please do that, so that if there is any need for clarification, we will come in and support that. All right, have a good weekend, everyone.
Sorry, Prof.
God bless you.
Sorry, Prof.
You haven't sent the link.
Sorry, Prof.
The link, we'll send the link now, not on the Zoom. It will come to your WhatsApp, please. It will come to the WhatsApp.
Prof, you said project. Which project, sir?
Your group project. Your group project.
Okay.